I know you can't remember, but I promise you this, your victims do. So just let me refresh your memory just for a second, because you might not remember it when you walk out. It was a 10-year-old and an 11-year-old little girl. They were kidnapped by you. And then raped. And then there was a little 12-year-old boy. He was also kidnapped. And you had a gun and a pitchfork, they said.
And you heard correctly, and he's been locked up in Angola since 1967 for that crime. The crime that could be written out of a horror movie, the crime that could be the worst nightmares that one can imagine. What's interesting about this hearing, you see, he's not parole eligible. He has a life sentence, but he's asking the board to recommend to the governor to commute his sentence. What I think is interesting about this case is that we get to watch just what it is like for a monster to wither away in prison. Do you think that he served enough time? Do you think that they should allow him to spend his final days free? Let's see what the board decides.
Mr. Branch, good morning.
I'm talking to you.
Morning.
Good morning, sir. Would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and your DOC number.
I can't.
Name and DOC number.
That was to say.
Your name and your DOC
Tell
number.
them what your name is and your DOC number.
My name is Eric Branch. 65973.
All right, Mr. Branch, you're here before the pardon board seeking a commutation of your sentence. You were sentenced in 1967 to a life sentence for a first-degree rape conviction in East Baton Rouge Parish. Do you know, is that information correct, sir?
Is it correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you hear what I said?
What was it?
She said, hear what she say. Are you hearing what she's saying?
I hear a little bit what she say.
Yeah, a little bit.
She's telling you what your conviction was. You was convicted in 67, I believe, for aggravated rape.
First degree rape.
First degree rape.
Is that correct?
I
Yes or no? Is that correct? Were you convicted for first degree rape in 1967?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate the help. Let me just, for those who are listening and participating today, I want to acknowledge those who are here on Zoom. We have the Parole Project, Mr. Kerry Myers, Lisa Glasper, Mr. Branch's daughter, and here with us in Baton Rouge, we have Mr. Robert Glasper, and at the appropriate time, we'll call on those folks to speak if they choose to do so. So, Mr. Branch, do you know why you're in prison?
Yeah, see?
Do you know why you're in prison?
Yes, ma'am.
You want to tell us why you're in prison?
Yes,
Can you
Tell
tell
them
them
what you did.
tell them what you did?
Tell them what you did to go to prison.
answer.
Tell them what you did to be in prison.
It's a rape my.
Okay. How long you been how long you been in jail?
How long have you been in Angola?
I've been in Angola since I've been in Angola since 1967, I believe.
Yes, sir. That's what I got. So, Warden Benoit or Warden Ambo, what can y'all tell us about Mr. Branch?
We could tell you that Mr. Branch is a minimum C. He's assigned to Bear 1. He actually worked as a janitor or cleaner whenever he can. He has a total of 29 DB reports, with his last one being April 24, 2006 for Rule 4. He has completed sex offender treatment. He also completed auto mechanics in 1980. He did 100 hours pre-release and his tire is low. He is assigned to one of our nursing dorms, nursing, to get help from nursing aides and stuff like that. So he has trouble, and he's in a wheelchair. He has trouble with things.
Okay, well, let's, before we start our line of questioning, we'll hear from those who want to speak. Mr. Myers with the Parole Project.
Good morning, Kerry Myers with Louisiana Parole Project, here to let the board know that we're here to support Mr. Branch. He is a client of Parole Project. Should this board give him a recommendation, Parole Project would provide him the transitional support he needs, and we are prepared, if necessary, to provide him long-term support. Mr. Branch has been incarcerated for 57 years. He is 85 years old. He would be classified as he is classified as a 10-6 lifer. He is not parole eligible, however, because he went to trial and did not take a plea bargain. That's why he's here in front of this board today. So we just want to let the board know that we are here to provide Mr. Branch the support and services he needs.
Okay, good, thank you. And Miss Lisa Glassford?
Man,
What kind of sickness do you have?
I don't understand. I can't
Yes,
understand you.
Miss Lisa? Is there something you want to say?
On Saturday, I guess he called him on Saturday. He after lunch he fell out and they took him to the treatment center. So I don't know if it's any medication that's stopping him from hearing or talking clearly.
Okay.
But
Well, what would you like us to know about him?
he's a very kind, understanding man. I don't know too much about my father because at the age of 2 weeks, he got incarcerated. So I would like to see if they'll give him a chance to come home. I visit him since I've been 5 years old. My mother is deceased now.
Well, he's lucky to have your support.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for speaking with us today. We have here Mr. Robert Glassford. Mr. Glassford, is there anything you'd like to say?
Mr. Dawson, we have Dr. Cleveland here, if y'all like to ask him anything about his condition.
Yes, thank you, Warden Benoit. Dr. Cleveland, can you tell us a little bit about Mr. Branch?
Mr. Branch is 85 years old. He does suffer from some of the problems that men that old get with forgetfulness and loses his train of thought. He does know his name. He knows how old he is. He knows his DOC number. But he requires quite a bit of not really supervision, but direction. You have to give him some direction. He recently was diagnosed with a pretty bad urinary tract infection. The cultures are still pending. We have him on IV antibiotics at this time, and he lives in nursing unit 1.
So he lives at the treatment center.
He's right. He lives with us
Okay.
right now. Now he does normally live at Camp C at Bear 1, and which is not a bad place for him either. But right now he's requiring IV antibiotics, so he's staying with us.
Well, thank you, Dr. Cleveland. Mr. Branch's case was assigned to Mr. Prater. Mr. Prater?
Yes, sir, Mr. Branch. I'll talk slow and hopefully you can understand what I'm saying.
And right there, just talking.
I've reviewed the record here really, and I don't have any questions, but I need to hear you say something about something. Tell me about the crime, the little girls that you raped.
Tell them about the crime and how you feel about the crime. That.
Well, they say that I picked up some children in a car and took them to a local place and had sex with one of them. and drove back, scared him back into town.
Did you do that?
I can't say I did that. I don't know if I did that or not. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say, I don't think I did that. I don't think I was guilty of that crime, what they asked me about. I have good sense. I'm not crazy and thing. And it kept me in jail a long time.
Okay, that's all I got. I think that's as far as we're gonna get.
Any other questions?
Sure, okay. I know you can't remember, but I promise you this, your victims do. So just let me refresh your memory just for a second, because you might not remember it when you walk out. It was a 10-year-old and an 11-year-old little girl. It was a 10-year-old and an 11-year-old little girl. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You hear what she's saying? She said it was a 10-year-old and 11-year-old little girls.
Okay.
Okay.
They were kidnapped by you and then raped. And then there was a little 12-year-old boy. He was also kidnapped. And you had a gun and a pitchfork, they said.
12-year-old boy too. The 12-year-old boy was kidnapped and raped.
No, he was not raped. The boy not raped, just the two girls, little boy. So the three children were kidnapped, aggravated now.
Okay.
Yes. So that was what really happened. And they dropped charges like they always do. But that's not the effect it had on those children because they identified you. They were your victims. And so the DA is opposed and the East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office opposed, even considering your age, your lack of memory, and your medical condition, which you're getting good medical condition there, and you might not have such good medical condition outside there. So I just wanted to bring up, we did have 3 little children that lived with the effects of that crime. Thank you.
Any other questions? Think we're ready to vote? Mr. Prater?
Yes, Mr. Branch, my vote is because of the severity of the crime, because of the fact you didn't admit it at the time, and you caused a trial, and you still don't remember if you did it or not. My vote to deny this request.
Mr. Freeman?
Due to strong victim opposition and law enforcement opposition, and your past criminal history is terrible. So my vote is also to deny.
Mr. Tillis?
I concur with Mr. Freeman.
Mrs. Stapleton?
I concur, Mr. Freeman.
And Mr. Branch, my vote today also is to deny based on the strong opposition to your application for clemency and your past criminal record. So today, Mr. Branch's application for clemency has been denied.
Man, and I just love that denial. And isn't Miss Stapleton a gem? You know, she looks like every, the classic Louisiana grandmother who would invite you in for some sweet tea, but she, my friend, carries a big stick and she knows how to lay it down. And, she replaced Mr. No Way Roche, who is irreplaceable. But if we could pick anyone from Louisiana, I think it'd be Miss Stapleton. And what a line, really. She said, "You might not remember, but I know your victims do. And let me remind you, even if you'll forget it before you walk out this door." I mean, that is just, again, I find myself using this word a lot, but kind of like scripted out of a movie. And all those years have passed, but when they bring up the crime, the pitchfork, the gun, the children, you just get brought back there into the horror of it. How can you all of a sudden then say, well, I'll let you go? You can deny doing it still. You can say you don't remember it. You can be a decrepit old broken man, but it's not happening. You made this choice, and now you're going to suffer the consequences. And it's interesting. You have Randy Meyer with the parole project, but a joke. I wonder if you could even handle someone like this if you can with the medical and whatnot. But who knows? But it's it's unbelievable. There's some people that might be saying, well, Louisiana's too tough. He's no risk to society. What's the point? And it is interesting. We see hearings from so many different states, and there are other states that just don't care. They don't believe in the whole retribution thing. They don't believe that, man, some people, they just earned the right to die in prison. And Louisiana, now there are, you could take other things into consideration if you wanted to. Remember, this was a commutation hearing. So they'd have to recommend to the governor to let him out. The governor would get a pamphlet on his desk and be like, are you serious? I handpicked you to represent our values, why I was voted into office, and you're going to recommend that someone who SA'd 2 children with a pitchfork and a gun and had their brother watch or whatever, you want me to then commute that sentence? Sure. That would be a PR field day, wouldn't it? So it's never going to happen anyways, because the governor would never sign it, and they wouldn't have, but neither here nor there. I'm just playing the devil's advocate if you guys want to hear it out. But the other states, I think they would just release no problem. They don't really care about the retribution thing. But let's go look at what Lady Holly brought up in the research. So we could pull up the document here. And what's interesting is they have, so he's 85 years old today. Wow. So they have an appeal, but it doesn't say anything. One thing the appeal does say, Lady Holly brings up, is it brings up Witherspoon versus Illinois, which is why he didn't get the death penalty, right? Because this sounds like a clear death penalty case, doesn't it? But maybe not, because he didn't kill them. I don't know. But basically, it was what Lady Holly showed is that there were some jurors that were kicked off of the juror poll because they were, here it is, solely because they voiced general objections against the death penalty. And because that happened, I don't know, maybe he didn't get the death penalty. But something that was confusing, what Randy Meyer brought up, they called him a 10-6 lifer. And what a 10-6 lifer was, we've covered 10-6 lifer cases, is that there was a time in, like, I think it was the late 60s, early 70s, where Louisiana, they didn't want to take anyone to trial. Same with what it is today. But they were handing out what they called these deals, which was you would serve 10 years and 6 months and have immediate parole eligibility. And they were handing out these deals like cotton candy. No matter how bad your crime was, it was that ridiculous. They called it 10-6. Then what happened, Louisiana, being known as really having a history of being a pretty corrupt state when it comes to lawfare and stuff, they changed their mind. They said, anyone who signed the 10-6 lifer deal, we were just kidding. We changed our mind. Now you're going to have life without parole. And I know that's insane. That's straight up insane. And they created a bucket of 10-6 lifers. It ended up like 30 years later where they said this is unconstitutional. Now you're all going to have parole eligibility. So we've covered a lot of those 10-6 lifer cases. Some of them are really bad. Some of them aren't so bad, in terms of what they got. They shouldn't have had a life sentence, right? I cannot see a world where this guy would have gotten a 10-6 life deal. And I don't see that mentioned anywhere in the appeal. So I don't know if Randy Meyer made it up, or if he has the wrong information, or if we are missing information, because we don't show that at all. And I can't imagine a world where he would be given a 10-6 deal. Oh, you're going to serve 10 years and 6 months for this. But then again, it's Louisiana, and it's just children, so who knows? And then we can go to Holly's random fact of the day. She's been including it in her documents here. So, fun fact: do you know what thought that he had a brain, but he was wrong? I don't think I get it. This might be too advanced for my brain. Do you know what thought thought. So what did thought? Thought that he had a brain, but he was wrong. No, that's oh, I wasn't screen sharing it for you. Here it is. See, you know what? See, I'm not making it up. See, Lady Holly's been throwing in these fun facts. This one's above my IQ though. I can't figure this one out. But anyways, that's we saw now a case where I think this man will die in prison, and many people do die every year in Angola. They have their own cemetery to bury the dead. So I think there are certain people that are in the right. You tell me. With that, I'll let you go.
I know you can't remember, but I promise you this, your victims do. So just let me refresh your memory just for a second, because you might not remember it when you walk out. It was a 10-year-old and an 11-year-old little girl. It was a 10-year-old and an 11-year-old little girl. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You hear what she's saying? She said it was a 10-year-old and 11-year-old little girls. Okay.
They were kidnapped by you and then raped. And then there was a little 12-year-old boy. He was also kidnapped. And you had a gun and a pitchfork, they said.
Oh, the old boy too.